it's gone.
She's inspired songwriters from Prince to Madonna with lyrics that touch the heart and mind.
She's a master of words and a master of music, and she's just one of the greatest.
Today we'll celebrate 30 years of great words and music with one of the most original voices of our generation. Meet Joni Mitchell this Wednesday morning, January 3rd.
From CBS News in New York, this is CBS This Morning. Live from West 57th Street in the center of Manhattan, I'm Mark McEwen in the CBS Broadcast Center. And now, here are Paul Azan and in for Harry Smith, John Roberts.
Good morning. Welcome to all of you, and welcome back to CBS This Morning. Coming up, an hour of pure enjoyment. Joni Mitchell will sing for us. She might even chat with us, too.
Yeah, this is very rare. She doesn't do this a whole lot. We're going to find out where she finds the inspiration for her music and for her lyrics.
And we're going to check in with Mark McEwen to find out how he pulled this one off. An old friend of Joni Mitchell's.
Well, I've been an admirer of her for 1,000 years, and it's an honor to have her on our show. I'm real pleased. Morning to both of you. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Joni. Well, now, for a real treat, Joni Mitchell is one of a kind, a singer who bears her soul through her art. Her latest CD is Turbulent Indigo, and recently, Harry, Paul, and I spent some time with this woman whose music is pure magic.
I've looked at life from both sides now, win and lose, it's still somehow.
Joni Mitchell first looked at life from her family's home in Saskatoon, Canada. An only child who was diagnosed with polio, she sought refuge in her words and music. Her unique abilities were apparent early on. Her high school yearbook notes Joni's unequaled artistic talent.
Time we got to Woodstock, we were 500,000 strong, yeah.
Since the mid-'60s, she's recorded 17 albums of her own tunes, songs that dare to reveal her most intimate thoughts and give voice to her most personal feelings.
He said, we'll lighten up your heavy load, and he sent me then to the refuge of the road.
As a woman in a traditionally male industry at a time when British bands rocked the charts, a lesser talent might have been silenced. But Mitchell endured and has made a lasting impression on her art.
Help me, I think I'm falling in love too fast. Our romantics meet the same fate someday. Cynical and drunk and boring someone in some dark cafe. Oh, honey, you turn me on. I'm the radio. We got a break. Unbelievable. We got a break. Right in the middle of this Hollywood heartache. Don't it always seem to go? You don't know what you've got till it's gone. They paved paradise, put up a parking lot.
Joni's fans include many of today's most popular songwriters, including Peter Gabriel, Prince, Madonna, and Melissa Etheridge, among her greatest admirers.
She is the greatest female songwriter.
She has continuously and courageously experimented, putting substance before style, passion before packaging, and all the time creating wonderful pictures with her songs.
And sex sells everything. Sex kills.
Folk, pop, blues, jazz. Joni's tackled them all with passion, and today she continues to write and record songs that make a difference. Ladies and gentlemen, Joni Mitchell. Well, that's the show. Goodbye. No. Hello, Joni.
Good morning.
Good to see you. Good to see you again.
Good to see you again.
Well, you see the reaction that you get from your fans and you have from the very beginning. What I'd like to know is, when you began to put your thoughts and your innermost feelings down on paper and with guitar, where did you think it would go? What made you want to do what you do with that instrument and with the instrument, your voice.
Okay, it's two departments, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
The music and the poetry. Let's see. Well, as a child, I think that the moment of inspiration came at a Kirk Douglas movie called The Story of Three Loves, which had as its theme song a piece by Rachmaninoff, and this melody just thrilled me, and that was before albums. And there was a department store in the town that had listening booths, and you could go in and take out a 78 and go into a glass booth and listen to it. And I used to go down and listen to that beautiful melody. And after that, I dreamed that I could play the piano beautifully and drive a car. Those were my two recurring dreams. And so I took piano lessons briefly, but the piano teacher didn't understand that I wanted to compose. She said, "Oh, why would you want to play by ear when you can have the masters under your fingertips?" And she wrapped my knuckles with a ruler, which was the way they taught in those days, but I didn't know that. I took it personally. So she kind of bruised my desire to play the piano beautifully until I was in my 20s. Actually, until I began to record, I picked the piano up again. So there was an early desire to chain chromatic colors. And as far as the poetry went, I never liked poetry, but I wrote it anyway. Secretly. And at a certain point, I realized that you could put the two together. As for playing the guitar, I picked that up kind of to sing rather rowdy songs at Wiener roasts, which was the source of our entertainment as a teenager in Saskatchewan. You know, grab some beer, go out in the bush and sit around and sing these songs. So I didn't really have any ambition. At that time, and from where I come from, it didn't seem even like a remote possibility. It wasn't a possible dream. Kids now say, oh, you hear them interviewed and they say, oh, I always knew as a small child I was going to be on television. Well, we didn't have television when I was a small child, so.
I guess the one reason why your songs talk to so many of us is that you deal with your own emotions in such an honest way, and you sing about things that a lot of us can't even talk about. In the process of writing these songs, does it sometimes become so invasive that it's difficult for you to face your own emotions, or are you completely free as you write?
Well, it depends. I mean, sometimes I guess I am, in this sense, a true artist, in that I feel that it's better to sacrifice myself to the song than someone else. You know, I can forgive myself for revealing myself, whereas sometimes very simple portraits that I don't think are. Like David Geffen had a hard time with Free Man in Paris for a long time. He was offended by it initially, and yet it doesn't reveal anything unattractive about him.
You should explain for people who don't understand what that lyric line meant and why.
Free Man in Paris?
For that to, yes.
Well, David and I went to the Cannes Film Festival. David was David Geffen, Geffen Records. We have a long history of a relationship, but he began as my agent. And then when he set up his own record company, the first one being Asylum Records, we went to the Cannes Film Festival one time, and it was his first time in Paris. And after we returned, David and I were roommates at that time, you know. I can remember him lamenting, oh, I want to go back to Paris, I want to go back to Paris, and he was kind of drowning in business responsibility. That's how I recall it. And the song contains a lot of his feelings in his own words at that time. You know, I kind of scribed them. And initially, he didn't really want to be, not that I put his name on it, everybody knows it now because the press always ferrets these things out, but
because you were dealing with sexuality and
well, I
what
don't,
one's
was it? Is there sexuality that's, I don't know, it just seems to me like a longing to be back, you know, on the Champs-Élysées, you know. It became a symbol, I think, of freedom as opposed to business responsibility. So it's just, it's easier to do a portrait of myself and my own foibles, which also helps to prevent too much worship. I'm not comfortable with being too pedestaled. You know, I like my freedom in the street. I like to walk around unchaperoned, so to speak, and feel that I can handle that. And blessedly, I've never had that much fame, so that, you know, and I came after the screaming eras, you know.
We have a couple of screamers here today, though.
This is fame. We're going to take a short break here, and we'll be right back with more with Joni Mitchell.
I put the
delighted to be spending some time with Joni Mitchell. Welcome back. You have so many fans here. I think we can all remember exactly where we were when we have heard most of your songs for the first time. This gentleman, though, has lost track how many years he's been enjoying your music. 23, 24, 25?
Somewhere around there. And I've been waiting all those 20, 23 years to ask you this one question.
Okay.
Will you marry me?
We'll have to wrestle 3 out of 5 falls. And I'm married and I'll wrestle you for Joni, so I want her to marry me.
She'll sing you an answer later on.
Here we got one right
Thank
here.
you very much for the offer.
Joni, with the nearly 20 albums that you've done, you've never actually compiled a greatest hits collection, but for a while we've been hearing about this box set. Is there any news on that?
Well, the greatest hits, I declined in putting that together because I don't want to kill my catalog, so I've been fighting the companies to put it off. And in fact, I haven't had that many hits. So I have had, I haven't had that much incentive, but now there's a lot of songs that I think could have been airplay, but the companies, for one reason or another, didn't gear up for them. I mean, I actually could make one at this point. The box set is quite a project. It's a retrospective, and I will do that in the future, but I don't have the time right now. I'm on to the next album first. So,
Joni, how much pressure did you have over the years to come up with hits? Because it is a hit-run, hit-driven industry. And how much did you have to fight that?
I was under in a unique kind of circumstance in that I didn't have a producer even for many records. I did a couple of things. I did one cut with a producer, and it was such a dreadful experience. I thought, oh no, it's another knuckle rapper. If I have to do this, it's going to kill my love of music again, you know, like nobody. I have a painter's vanity. It's like you wouldn't have somebody putting a stroke on your canvas, so why would you have somebody putting a stroke on your music? I mean, you do have collaborators, and you cut them a certain amount of expressive slack, and that's plenty good enough. Well, anyway, without a producer, which is sometimes the go-between in the company, and no A&R or even artists' representation in the studio, I was left pretty much to my own devices. And as for the release of singles, that's the one area where I had no say. So they'd release one, and nothing much would generally happen. And I'm not a large record seller, so they didn't put a lot of money behind promoting it either. And as John Lennon said to me one time, "Oh, put some fiddles on it. You want a hit, don't you? Why do you let other people have your hits for you?" But other people seem to have better luck with my songs in terms of the top 10 than I do.
Both sides now has been recorded, I think, 300 and change times. So.
That's all.
Yeah.
We got to take a break. We'll be back right after this.
All right, now let's get back to Harry Smith and more of our recent visit with Joni Mitchell.
She has written and recorded songs that have been more than just hits. A Joni Mitchell song says something and means something, and Joni Mitchell is here to sing for us.
Running behind the time, just like this train, shaking into town with the brakes complaining. I used to count lovers like railroad cars. I counted them on my side. Lately I don't count on nothing, I just let things slide. the station master shuffling cards. Boxcars are banging in the yards. Jealous loving will make you crazy if you can't find your goodness, 'cause you lost your heart. 'Cause you lost your heart. A cause or a strong cat without claws or any reason to raise you, and I found this empty seat in this crowded waiting room. I found everybody waiting. There's an old man sleeping on his bags, women with a teased up kind of hair, kids with the jitters in their legs, and those wide, wide open stares. And the kids got cokes and chocolate bars. There's a thin man smoking a fat cigar. Jealous loving will make you crazy if you can't find your goodness, 'cause you lost your heart. 'Cause you lost your heart. And this roll down blind, I got this fold up sink, and these rocks and these cactuses going by, and a bottle of German wine to drink. Settle down into the clickety-clack with the clouds and the stars to read, dreaming of the pleasure I'm gonna have, watching your hairline recede, my vain darling, watching your hair in clouds and stars. I'm rocking away in a sleeping car. Oh, jealous loving's gonna make me crazy. I can't find my goodness, I lost my heart. Oh, sour grapes, because I lost my heart.
And Joni Mitchell is back with us. I want you to see what a diehard fan is all about here.
Oh, look at
the 79
that.
miles of aisles tour. I still have it. I can't fit in it anymore.
And the question down here.
When you're at home, what's your favorite food to prepare for yourself?
Oh, let's see.
Your music speaks for itself.
Well, I make a concoction that I call apple oink. And what it is, it's pork chops, but I poach them in cran apple juice with onions and garlic and sliced apples so that it comes down to kind of an apple sauce, and I poach it, and then under a lid. Then I take the lid off and let it caramelize for the last few seconds, but you have to watch it so it doesn't burn. That's pretty good.
Cooking with Joni.
Apple oink.
Everybody I know, no matter how old they get, has times when they have to listen to your albums. What do you do when you want to listen to a Joni Mitchell song? Do you write a new one? Do you listen to your music?
Good question.
Oh, well, I don't look back too much, you know, like I'm going to have to because of the box set. And I have all my tapes in my car. It looks like that's all I listen to. But they've been there a long time because I haven't been able to, it's like this is your life, you know. I have to go over this whole bulk of material. Yeah, I go forward. You know, usually the song that interests me the most is what I'm trying to describe that just happened.
Your songs are everybody's life, so that's what's so
We all had the discussion a minute or two ago that we feel like at some point in all of our lives, you have saved our lives. So that's right.
Joni, one thing I want to mention, the people who came out when you did musically, Bob Dylan, Crosby, Graham Nash, you, not only do you have music that says something, but your heart seems to always be in the right place when it comes to helping others, being benevolent. Do you see that benevolence in other artists today?
Well, to tell you the truth, you know, you absorb most of your music when you're young. That's when you're the most keen on it and you're the most open to it. And recently, I haven't been listening to much. There's music everywhere you go now. You know, if you want to hear some music, roll down your window in LA traffic. You know, what this guy's listening to, and I mean, it's in stores, it's everywhere. So I've gone through a period in the last year of spending my evenings in silence, which has created the music that I'm now making. It's interesting what happened by not listening to music. There's a lot of 40s influences coming into it, like in the melodies and in the chord progressions. And so it has been a time not really to absorb that much of what is new. So I can't speak very in an informed way about what's happening these days.
Got another question for you over here.
Hi. I want to know what you think of the performance artist John Kelly's use of your work, and also, in addition to your enormous cultural place in our lives, what it feels like to officially have been brought into the gay pantheon of divas.
No. Well, I've seen pictures of him, but I didn't, I meant to go and see his performance in Los Angeles, and things conspired, so I've not been an eyewitness to it, but I think it's fun.
He's great.
Yeah. Didn't he have George O'Keefe as his piano player at the LA gig?
Well, he does you in drag
so.
Sometimes, and then other times he does your work totally straight and very and takes you quite seriously. It's very beautiful.
Well, some of the lyrics are narrative form, so they're not gender oriented. They could be. It takes very little, maybe one word to change it anyway. Okay. So no, I'm honored. I think that's great.
We want to hear you play some more in just a minute. All right.
One eye open for the beat police, sweet fire calling. So numb on Christmas Day I couldn't feel my hands or feet. I shouldn't have come. She made me pay for gleaming with Donald down her street. She put blame on him and shame on me. She made it all seem so tawdry and cheap. Let's be nice, Mama. Open up your gifts, you know. Happiness is the best facelift. I mean, after all, she introduced us. Oh, but she regrets that now. Shacked up downtown, making love without a license. Same old sacred cow. She said, did you come home to disgrace us? I said, why is this joy not allowed? For God's sakes, I'm middle-aged, Mama, and time moves swift, and you know, happiness is the best facelift. much courage. Love takes so much shit. She said, you've seen too many movies, Joni. She said, snap out of it. Oh, the cold winds blew at our room with a view. All helpful and hopeful and candlelit. We kissed the angels and the moon eclipsed, you know. Happiness is the best facelift. We pushed the bed up to the window to see the Christmas lights. On the east bank across the steaming river, between the bridges lit up Paris like. This river has run through both our lives, between these banks of our continuing delights. And bless us, don't let us lose the drift, you know. Happiness is the best facelift.